So in this one, let's talk about inverted indexes. So inverted index are essentially, you'll find it in every single search engine that exists. It's the core data structure that powers search engine. And this is something that I learned during my masters. I had no idea about it. We had a subject called information retrieval, and in that one, we built a search engine from scratch on top of Wikipedia's data, and it was one of the best assignments that I did. So a lot of this information comes from that, and me building search at an academy for a year, a good year and a half. So won't go into huge chunk of details, but we'll just focus on inverted index in this one. That would help you understand how search engines are built. And again, highly recommend you to build your own search engine. It's one of the best assignments that I can recommend anyone to build. Okay, so what are we going to cover today? So things that we'll cover today are: what is an inverted index? Why do we need it? How is it built and stored? Variants and optimizations, and search engines as its real world use case. Right? Okay. So let's start simple. Let's start how a naive search works. So a set of documents that you give input to a search engine is called a corpus. So corpus is nothing but a set of documents. Each document typically has an ID, and you give it a search query, right? Let's say a fish. I want to find document that contains the word fish. So a naive lookup looks something like this. So imagine you have a document, a corpus with, let's say, 5 documents. I'm just taking one line as a word document, but imagine it's a web page or something like that, right? So document number 1, so long and thanks for the fish. Second is nobody loves a pig wearing lipstick on the wall. Some random sentences that I generated. A naive lookup looks something like this. So given a search query, let's say fish, I go through each one of the document, find out if it contains the word fish. If it contains, I add it to my result set. Right? And then at the end, when I have it in my result set, I decide some ranking mechanism, and then I spit out the results. Right? The problem with this is, of course, it's too slow. It's linear scan, it's slow. Let's make it better. This is where your inverted index comes in. The idea of inverted index is simple. It essentially stores term, which is a word, to the list of documents where it is present. So for example, the word the is present in 3 documents: 1, 4, and 5. Oh, it's also present in 2. Let me add it to. Wall is also present in 2. Right? The word fish is present in 1 and 5. Fish here and fish here. Right? Then you have your wall, which is present in 2 and 5. Wall is present in 5 and wall is present in 2. Right? So this is my inverted index. The unique set of words that my inverted index, like that is present in my inverted index, is called a dictionary, which is vocabulary and essentially vocabulary. And the list of documents is called as a posting list. These are very specific IRE terms, but you would hear people use this more often, like dictionary. It's not key value pair, but dictionary is actually the list of words, and posting list is the list of document IDs in the inverted index. Now, let's talk about how it is built. Now, in a search engine, when you're building an inverted index, what you do is, given a document, you break that document into words or tokens. Now you decide your tokenization strategy. You decide your wording strategy. Some break it at space, some break it at new line, some break it at like some expand and break, some take multiple words as a single word, several ways to do it, right? But the bare minimum is break each word at space, right? Space, new line, any kind of white space, and that becomes your tokens. Then you actually lowercase all the words, because I think of it, the word fish can be capitalized, can be lowercased, present in the same corpus, but you ideally need to match both. So you do lowercasing, you remove punctuations, right? You do stemming and lemmatization. So stemming essentially means you convert your word into a quote unquote root word. So for example, your word housing would be replaced to house, right? So it replaces ing at the end, right? Or let's say if you have pulses, it would change it to pulse. So it tries, so there are some rules that are defined in a stemmer, and it removes the suffix of it and brings everybody to the root word, because houses and house essentially means the same thing, right? So that's what I do. Lemmatization is essentially converting your word into a root word which is grammatically correct. So it's much slower. It's not just suffix trimming. It's much more smarter, and it actually does the root word for the word, right? And it brings all them to the, so it's much more expensive, but stemming is what you would see almost very widely accepted. Okay? Now, third is it removes the common word called stop words. So ideally you can keep stop words in your index, there is nothing harm, but if you think of stop words are very common, like is, am, are, was, were, has, have, had, do, does, did, shall, should, will, would, can, could, may, might, must. Right? All those words that you see, they are so common and they are present in almost all the documents that they do not add a differentiating value. So that's why they would typically act as a noise when you're trying to match. So you typically get rid of the stop words from the corpus. That's next step. And then for each term that are left, you add it to a list. So essentially simple list, your default dictionary key is term, value is a list, and you append, you tokenize and you append. That's what you do. Right? Okay, next. What's inside the posting list? So up until now, what I mentioned is the inverted indexes, key, and your list of document IDs. But can you not store more information than just document ID? You typically want to do it if your search engine is little advanced. For example, your search engine, your posting list you might want to hold information like this word is present in this document these many times. So this word in this document, so the word fish is present in document ID 1 time as a 7th word at offset 28. And the word fish is present in document ID 5 as a 1 time as the first word starting at offset 0. The reason we do this is because what we are essentially doing is we are storing the position of the word in the document and we are storing the offset. Now, position of the word in the document typically helps you answer proximity queries. So if let's say I fire a query, let's say fish is climbing, then I might want to rank the documents higher which contains fish and climbing nearer to each other versus fish in the first paragraph, climbing in the last paragraph. Right? So these are proximity queries, or you can also use it for ranking and relevance. But these are proximity parameters that you need to capture and hold it in your inverted index. Then the offset that we discussed, why do we need it? That is used for snippet generation and highlights. Because now you exactly know in this document at this offset this is present. So when you fetch it, you can literally highlight that word which matched. Your elastic searches of the world offer you this output where you see the highlights when you get the documents back after firing the search query. And so these information are stored inside the posting list. Now, how does the lookup work? Very simple. This is a dead simple search engine that you have, like super simple search engine where let's say your query is fish and wall. Now imagine this query is what I provided in a Boolean logic. Right? You can just take simple words and like implicitly and it. But the idea is you fetch the posting list of fish, you fetch the posting list of wall, you do the set intersection of it, and that's your candidate set. Now you do ranking and relevance beyond that. But your inverted index made it super efficient to compute the set of document that contains all the terms that you're looking for. So this is why it's the heart and soul of your search engines, like elastic searches of the world, your solars of the world, your lucines of the world, right? Okay, awesome. Now, the next part, just two very little things. The next part is optimization, is what else do we do when we have this inverted index? So to make, especially with respect to search, because inverted index are typically very heavily used with search engines. That's why a lot of discussion is around search engines, but a couple of optimizations that you do on inverted index is you keep the list that you have sorted, because you know two sorted arrays, merging them is order n complexity, right? If it's unsorted, then it takes n square worst case, otherwise you sort it and then do it. So that's why computers love when things are kept in order. So that's why you typically keep your sorted in order so that you can merge things faster. Then second, you have the list. This list is essentially list of document IDs. So you can do very heavy compression. You can do delta encoding, you can do variants, you can do a lot of stuff to save space. Imagine at scale of Google, how big the inverted index would have been. Right? Then third is you do tiered index. So you keep the top n in memory and everything else on the disk. What is top n? It's like the most important documents are kept in memory. Not like for the posting list. If let's say a word is present in, let's say 1000 documents, but out of this 1000 documents, when you are searching, let's say on Google or wherever, when you are searching, you're very likely to get the same set of documents. Not you as for the same query, but for when a similar query is fired by other user, they also get the same set of documents. So there are some documents which are more important, higher quality than other documents, or are higher hit or a higher searched than other documents. In that case, what you do, you keep this as your inverted list in memory while your entire inverted list is stored on the disk. So your lookups become even faster. So this is, some literature also calls it champion list, right? Where you keep your top n in memory. So most important document IDs in your posting list in memory. Let's say, for example, first 100. Right? You hold that in memory, and by the way, all of them are on the disk. Right? There are other optimizations where your things could be positional. You can do positional stuff as we discussed, or you can do by word inverted index. So instead of having one word as a key, you have by word. You have essentially 2 gram, 3 gram, n gram indexes that you create. Now, depending on how sophisticated you want your search engines to be, you can decide your inverted index structure. The idea is how you want to vary your key, which is your term, which is 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms, or what you want to store in your posting list, right? And then you use it to power your Elastic, to power your regular search engine queries. Right? Now, if you're interested, by the way, if you're interested in information retrieval, like this was the gist of all things inverted index, right? It's a fab thing. I would highly recommend to try building a search engine on top of Elasticsearch. On top of Wikipedia data. Don't have to scrape Wikipedia data. You can literally download Wikipedia dump. It would be a 30 or 40 GB compressed data. When you uncompress it, it would go till 200 GB, 300 GB, maybe more. I don't know. But when you have this data, you build search engine on top of it and then see. Because in that, all of these concepts would come in handy. What I did not cover in this video is algorithm called TF-IDF. I have a blog on it. I'll link it in this video. You can find it on the iCard above. Or below the description. Right? So what I would highly recommend is go into TF-IDF, see how that relevance works. There is BM25 scoring, which is now much more popular than TF-IDF. Learn about how ranking works, use tools like Elasticsearch, that is essentially an abstraction over all these concepts that we discussed. And I also have a video on phonetic search, the crossover video on how search engine, like how Swiggy matches croissant when you type in Prashant with that famous meme, how that works, how that is phonetic search. And that's amazing. So I used all of this while I was building search at Unacademy. You can try Unacademy search. I'm not sure if it's still live, very likely it should be live, but spend a good chunk of time building it. It's so much fun. Right? So information retrieval is something that I did a lot during my college times. And this is very brief overview of what inverted index are, and this is the core data structure that powers your search engine, right? After this, all it turns out to be relevance and ranking, but this would be the core data structure that powers it. This is all you need to know for your core fundamental storage layer and how it would look like. Everything else is compute on top of this. So yeah, hope you found it interesting. Hope you found it amusing. That's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a ton.